那咱们现在就边走边说，带大家看看这个港口。来，我走到两位中间来吧，这样方便一点啊。那先请这个郭总来给我们介绍一下我们这个水库港的一个情况。
Firstly, we would like to ask Mr. Guo to introduce to us this port. I heard that the area of this port is not so large. Although it's not so vast, but it has two highlights. The first highlight is that it is the largest port along the Yangtze River.
这样，过大，那么我们的港口设计能力，它的吊装水平已经满足不了货物的吞吐，所以说呢，我们在2期呢，我们政府呢就要投入加大力度，准备建设一个新的港区。等会大家可以看得见的，新的港区设计能力呢是544万吨，7万5标箱。有这样的设计能力以后呢，可以满足我们这个云南融入长江经济带那些辅助的功能吧。
来，郭总刚才是把我们整个水库港的一个情况做了一个简单的一个介绍啊。因为刚才咱们首先是提到了这个港口的一个重要性，我想这个程教授对于这个港口重要性这块您是非常了解，它的这个意义是什么？
正如郭总刚才所讲的，这个水库港的开通啊，它对于我们这个万里长江来说，这个把原来的这个万里长江第一港从我们的宜宾的延伸到了我们的水库，这样的是我们的这个沿江的通航能力，这个向上这个延伸到就是我们这个云南
重要性还是蛮大的。那我们现在在这个港口里看到的这边都是一些集装箱的货物，是吧，郭总？那咱们现在这边是散货跟集装箱都有，对吧？
对，目前呢，我们这个港区呢，散货占的比例还比较大，集装箱呢正在这个开发过程当中。那么今后呢，我们集装箱的量会越来越大。建造新港口也是出于这个港口吞吐量的这个目的出发，另外一个建设绿色港口也是我们建设新港口的一个主要目的之一。因为老港口的话，它的集装箱吞吐能力1年只有1.5万吨，远远不能满足我们云南省往外运的这种集装箱，进出的集装箱。那所以呢，我们新的港区呢，在集装箱这块呢，会加大很大的力度。像我们这块老的港区，今后呢就全部改成集装箱港区。
那现在它主要运输的都是什么货物啊？
目前的话以散货磷矿为主。今后的话，我们这个集装箱这个货运的腹地的应该是昆明，有白糖，化工原料像氢钙，包括那些从内地运过来的，从长江中下游运过来一些生活用品，比如说装饰材料、钢材，还有瓷砖等等啊。
就说现在咱们在这儿运输的就有这些内容吗？
对，目前也有，但不是太多。因为港区的作业能力限制，所以说这还是一个培育过程。
咱们这个改扩建是迫在眉睫了，对吧
？Operation scope is limited here. So it's really the urgent need for the expansion of the port. Yes, when we arrived here, we saw batches of journalists. They went to Xingang Port. For the Shuifu Port, in future, the integration of the port and the city is very important. We will enlarge the industrial park, and we will hold the comprehensive development for both the city and the port. For some ports, the development of it will rely on the port-centered industry. So we need to comprehend all these resources and develop together. And secondly,
都市理运的体系当中去。
the port of Shuifu's development will be integrated to the development of the Yangtze River. The river, sea, lake, and the sky, and the ship industry should develop together. Although this port is the first port of the Yangtze River, but it is not a large one. It has a limited operation and service scale. But like we said, if there is the integrated development plan and to give full play to our geographic and transport condition at Shuifu, and also as we are at the hub of Yunnan, Guizhou, and Sichuan, I think there is a promising future for Shuifu Port. In front of us is the truck loaded the goods transported from other places just now. And these are chemical products. It's for the fertilizers. Every year we transport 500,000 tons of these products. This freight is about 2,000 tonnage. Is the freight here? Yes, let's take a look at the freight, the 2,000 tonnage freight. Take a look at this flowing water. Let our cameraman, Mr. Yang, to take some live stream. You see, this freight is not very big. It's about 2,000 tonnage capacity. The largest freight here is 8,500 tons. In the past, it was so hard to imagine this port can hold such big vessels. And now the annual capacity of the freighters are 5,000 tons. But because today the water is turbulent, this freighter is small. So during the flooding period, it is actually dangerous. There are two reasons why the big vessels cannot enter during the period. The first one is the height of the bridges. And the second condition is on the waterbed. For Yangtze River, in the past, only 10,000 tonnage freighters can reach Nanjing, but now, as heavy as 50,000 tonnage freighter can also reach Nanjing. So there can be more 1,000 tonnage freighters. In the past, for this port, the tonnage capacity of the freighters used to be 1,000 to 3,000 tonnages, but now it is greatly improved, which was so hard to be imagined in the past. Has this freighter arrived here in the morning? So how long will it take for it to load fully? It takes 10 hours, roughly, for the 2,000 tons goods. So when did they arrive here? At around 7 o'clock. So they will need to work until this afternoon. This freighter is going to Nantong City. So it's just like the head and the tail of the Yangtze River. Nantong is the tail of Yangtze River. In future, all the ports along Yangtze River will conduct the comprehensive and inclusive development plan. This will improve the efficiency and give full play to various advantages of the various ports. And when the goods are being transported from the upper reach to the lower reach, there should be integrated plan. This is just like we developed together. Some experts say the water development should be integrated. But this is different from the rail and the road transport. So especially for the public products, companies choose water transport. But sometimes they also choose rail or road or integrated transport means. So, on this regard, Shuifu Port is now working with other ports. Apart from this, we also approach the lower reaches, including Jiangsu and other provinces. We are now cooperating with other ports. For example, we have joined. We are one member of the Yangtze River Port Alliance, and now we are working with Luzhou, Yibin, and Chongqing Port. Especially for our next step, we will closely cooperate with Nanjing Port, which is the first port of that river. For the lower reaches of Yangtze River, the ports are big ports. Their freighters will arrive at Nanjing Port directly. So we cooperate with Nanjing for more. In future, once this expansion is finished, we will probably work with Nanjing Port for more. There are 3 major transport hubs along Yangtze River: Shanghai, Wuhan, Chongqing. Shuifu Port can be integrated into Chongqing Port. Nanjing Port is the regional water transport hub. And it is not only the port, it is also the seaport. And it's very convenient. They will upload and assemble goods at Nanjing Port. So this is also the integrated plan of the sea and river ports. I heard that for the 2,000 tonnage, it takes 10 hours. We don't have too much staff here. We have about 30 persons working here. So you must be very busy here every day. I saw some people taking notes. Yes, they are taking accounts and calculating the goods. This should be precise so that there will be no lack of goods. Will this be smart? For the new ports, we will adopt some intelligent system because there is limited labor force. So how about the population of Shuifu County? It's very small, with 104,000 population. But this county is of various characteristics. Although it is small, and it only established since 1974. You see, it was a short 30 years history. And it has a limited land area, which is 4.6 million square kilometers. and with a small population, but there are three large aspects of this county. The first is the Shuifu Port. The second is the hydropower station, which ranks the 9th in the world. And the third large aspect is the largest open-door spring in Asia. So we really welcome our viewers to come to Shuifu and enjoy the spring. And just now, speaking of a population, we firstly mentioned the staff working here, which is 30. And can you introduce to us the procedure or the equipment? Firstly, let me introduce to you why there are limited staff working here. That is to improve efficiency. That is not because of the small population in Shuifu County. And secondly, there is a high manufacturing machinery improvement. That is why there is less labor force. And also we have established a modern information system that we have the automatic monitoring and sensors. Speaking of informatization, we will improve investing into this. For the ship, the goods, and the harbor, these things will be integrated. But this needs more capital and human source. So what is the area of the new port? It's about 400 mu. But for this old port, it's only 40 mu. So the new port will be 10 times of this one. My colleague went to the new port. It is still under construction. It's a similar platform like this. It's the operation area. I think the live streaming here is better because we can see the freighters and we can see goods. But at the new port, it is still under construction and there is no freighters. Just now, Mr. Guo said there is not simply bulk, but also containers on the freighters. The development of Shuifu Port is of great significance because the harbor of Shuifu Port reaches the side of Yangtze River and will be expanded. It will be more approachable to the river. And now, because we are heading for modernization, that's what I want to ask. I want to ask about the informatization of this port. For this phosphorus fertilizer, there is also information system, and there is also the transferring belt, which can transfer the goods directly. There is the delivery belt, which helps protect the environment because it's closed. Because the delivery belt is in the closed area, so this will prevent the powder of the fertilizers from being expanded or exposed to the water, to the air. Let's move to the other places. This area is of 40 mu, which is limited, but they can make the miracle here. And Shuifu Port has been the first port of Yangtze River, but this is not for long. So our staff here really did hard work. Just now I mentioned port-centered industry, which is also very important. For many ports, they rely on port-centered industry so that to drive the development of port. Can you name a few? At the coastal cities, once the port is constructed, there will be port-centered industries, and then the port-centered industries will drive the development of the port. This is also very popular in Hong Kong and in other lower reaches area. So I noted that Shuifu County has also initiated 2 plans, that is to develop the port-centered industry, including logistics. I think we can also develop some emerging industries, which is of a great strategic meaning. The new plan is to ask the cities to offer land in order to develop some new emerging industries. That we need to improve the efficiency of the land utilizing rate and to encouraging those companies. He offered a very good suggestion. Do you have any considerations? The municipal government and department on the transport also attaches great importance to the construction of the port. They have invested a large amount of fund, and they will generate the top logistics company here so that to drive the development of the port. That's the consideration from the government. And the second is the multiple cities transport. The new port does not only have harbors, but also railway stations. The rail can enter the harbor directly. So this integration is also a key consideration from the government. So you can see the comprehensive plan is to construct, to build ports, and let the city to offer its land, and also to develop some major companies, including logistics. So to build the industrial park at the port area is a highlight concern from the municipal and city level governments. And we saw here rights to protect the ecological environment and to build green ports. And you can also see the water running in front of our camera. That is the Lucid Mountains and Waters. So how do you protect the environment? Environmental protection is a systematic project, and it is a long-term project. Firstly, while we are increasing the manufacturing equipment, for example, the delivery belt, we will make it in the closed area so that not to expose the powder. And also we are transforming some chemical products equipment. And also we are trying our efforts to limit the contamination of the containers. I think there are two aspects for the environmental protection. The first one is how to implement the green concept into every process of the port operation. And second, especially for the logistics and other industries, we uphold green industry development so that to build up a green brand from the upper reaches of the Yangtze River. And I want to ask, when will the new port be finished? By the end of this year, according to the plan. The expansion and transformation project will be finished by the end of this year, but it will be put into operation by June 2019. Before that, this old port will continue working. After the expansion and transformation project, this area will be transformed into the professional containers harbor. So this place will also be transformed, and it will take some certain period, about 1.5 years. So for Shuifu Harbor, by 2020, both the old and new Shuifu Port will be finished. I wanted to go there. Can we go there? But it's far by walking. Okay, let's see it from the camera and hope our viewers can see that. That is the new platform, which is 320 meters long. I mean that platform under the railway bridge. Wait a moment. Let's zoom in the camera and our viewers can see it clearly. Okay, that's the best we can do in the camera. That's the platform. The length of the berth is 320 meters. There are 3 berths, 2 for bulk goods. So in future, the whole cargo capacity of Shuifu Port will be 5.4 million tons. So there will be more types, more categories for the goods. Yes. And now it's mainly for the phosphorus and some chemical fertilizers. In future, after the throughput of the cargo and containers improved, we will reach Kunming City. What's the main industry in Shuifu? Currently, the industry is limited. It's mainly for the fertilizers. In the future, with the development of the port and with the expansion of the port, I think we will have more industries. So do you have any suggestions on the future development of the port and the city? Shuifu County was born of water and developed of port. And there is also the word water in Shuifu County's name. After the implementation of the integrated plan, I think it will support our county's development greatly. And we have did the live streaming for almost half an hour. Let me introduce to our viewers about our next trip. be careful. It's noisy because the truck is passing by. It is also to hold the goods. It has uploaded the goods to the freighters. You see, it takes time and labor force. We look forward to seeing the new port. Our report team this afternoon will arrive at Yibin City, Sichuan Province. Professor Chen will follow us. Do you have any knowledge on Yibin City? I read the report, I read the news, and there will be cultural elements. For me, I concentrate on industrial aspect along Yangtze River. But do you know anything about Yibin City? I know about its ports. In the past, the first port of Yangtze River was at Yibin City. Because in the past, Yunnan lacks agricultural products because of the lack of fertilizer factories. So, in order to establish fertilizer factories, Yunnan needs a lot of large equipment. So, Yibin was included into Yunnan City, and Panzhihua is included into Sichuan Province. That's the background. So, Shuifu Port becomes the first port of Yangtze River. Do you know about Yibin? What comes to my mind, firstly, is the wine. Wuliang wine is very popular. That's the grain wine in Yibin City. And Yibin is also a city with profound history that has the classic villages. Shuifu is very close to Yibin. We rely on Yibin economically even more than Zhaotong City because we are more closer to Yibin City. We often drive there. So we really look forward to this afternoon's live broadcasting. Professor Chen will follow us and we will visit Yibin. And I hope our viewers can watch our serious program on the Yangtze River Economic Belt. Thank you for watching. See you. Bye.